Hello everybody and welcome to this week's video. So this is the last video in 12 of a 12-week course called The Spirits of Nature, and we've gone through all the elements, and we've gone through some animals and some plants and rocks, and finally into spirit or prana. And today, in this 12th and final video, this is us bringing it all back together and coming into a final practice that kind of weaves its way through everything that we've done. So we're going to begin seated, comfortable seat. I'm sitting on my ball and my block here, closing the eyes or lowering the gaze, and bringing the awareness into the breath. So feeling the cool air moving in through the nose, warm air moving out through the nose, tuning gently into the rhythm of the breath. And we've been working for the last couple of weeks with some of the bandhas, the muscle locks in the body. So we're going to begin to work with the Mula bandha, that's the muscles of the pelvic floor, the muscles that stop you going to the toilet. So as you are breathing out gently, you're just going to engage these muscles, so squeezing the muscles together. And as you breathe in, just allowing them to soften. So exhale, squeezing these muscles, trying not to tense the rest of the body up. Exhale, just softening everything. So one more exhale with the Mula bandha. And then we're going to drop that and we're going to bring in the Uddiyana bandha. So this is the muscles around here, around the abdomen. So as you're breathing out, just gently pulling the navel towards the spine on the exhale. So just working with these muscles at the moment. Inhaling again, softening. And the purpose for, keep on working with that, but the purpose for doing this is to, when we're breathing in, we're drawing prana, universal life force, into the body. And as we engage these muscles, this helps to retain that energy in the body. Beautiful. And then the last bandha that we were working with last week is the Jalandhara bandha, which is, I will just turn around quickly so that you can see what I'm talking about, just in case you didn't see last week's video. So as we exhale, taking the chin back, taking the whole head backwards, and dropping the chin towards the chest. And then as you inhale, softening again. As you exhale, taking the head back, chin down towards the chest. And if you want to, you can hold that sense of the Jalandhara bandha, the neck, the throat lock, it's called. You can hold the retention out on the exhale if you want to for a few counts, but just don't do anything that's not comfortable. So we're working with the bandhas. If you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to continue working with the bandhas, doing that. And we're going to begin to work with this beautiful idea of having a golden light in the centre of the heart and a beautiful golden thread that's coming up from the heart, through the neck, all the way through the head and out and joining with the sun above us. So this draws the energy up and out of the top of the head. And then as you exhale, you can engage these bandhas, and we can begin to see a very dark red or brown thread coming again from the center of the heart, going down through the body, out through the root chakra and down into the earth, deep, deep down to connect with the earth star. And this is when we're connecting with the fire element. So we've connected with the air element in the breath, we've connected with the earth element as we're dropping down into the earth here and using the bandhas, which is a very physical act, it's a very earthy act. And then as we take the thread up and the thread down, and this thread as it's going down is allowing us to drop anything that we don't need, any unwanted stuff, any waste, dropping it into the earth can use it and absorb it. But also we're taking the thread down to connect with the fire in the center of the earth. So this is our connection to the element of fire. Beautiful. So from here we're going to take a couple of little movements. So we're just going to begin to circle the arms, bringing them forward all the way backwards and then back the other way. Beautiful. And then we're going to bring the arms out to the sides as wide, as far apart as you can, and then crossing them over, taking hold of the shoulders, giving yourself a big hug, and then opening them again and perhaps engaging the Jalandhara bandha here. And then we're going to come back and cross them the other way. So whichever way you did the first time, do it the other way. Giving yourself another little hug there. Opening them again and bringing the hands back down onto the knees. So I'm now going to invite you to come and lie down on your back with your heels behind your bottom, feet down onto the ground. We're going to take a couple of movements here. So coming into semi-supine, soles of the feet onto the ground. It's good to have them so that you can just touch them with your fingers. Here, that's about the right distance away and about hip width apart. And palms of the hands flat onto the earth. And as we exhale, we're going to drop the lower spine down to the ground, engaging all of these bandhas. And inhale, softening, releasing everything. Doing that again. So exhale, dropping the lower spine down into the ground, engaging the Mula Bandha and the Uddiyana Bandha and the Jalandhara Bandha. And then as we inhale, we're going to raise the arms up above the head, softening everything, but this is opening the chest. And then exhaling again, dropping the lower spine, engaging all of the bandhas, dropping the chin to engage the Jalandhara Bandha as well. One more of these. Wonderful. And then from here we're going to take the arms out at shoulder height and drop the knees down to one side, looking over the other arm. And then bringing the knees up to the top and taking everything in the opposite directions to how they were. So just coming back through centre, give yourself a little bit of a rock from side to side, hugging the knees in if that's good for you. And then from here, we're going to roll over and make our way up into all fours. As a lot of you know, I like to use a soft block like this for my knees. You can use a blanket or anything you like, or nothing, or whatever suits you. Sun ray fingers looking down between the hands. You can either have the tops of the feet down or the toes tucked. We're going to inhale, going into a cow pose, engaging with some of our animal friends. Exhaling, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, coming into the cat. More of our animals. So working gently with that. One more of those. Then we're going to come back to a neutral spine. Tuck your toes if they're not already, and lifting the hips up into the dog. So here we go. Another one of our animals that we connected with in whichever week it was we did that. So we're going to keep a little gentle bend in the knees. Seeing if you can let go of the head to give the head a bit of a shake. Taking the weight through all parts of the hands. And as you exhale, just allowing the body to drop. Feeling the weight dropping down through the earth. And then we're going to come down, so gently come down with wide knees, dropping the bottom onto the heels if that's good for you. You can come back with hands under the head or doing whatever you like here. And we're going to take a few breaths here. So then from here, we're going to come back up to sitting. And I'm going to come again with my block and my ball, but you could sit in a chair, you can sit on a few blocks, you can just sit on the floor cross-legged, whatever works for you. And we're going to do a little bit of breath of fire. So just putting the hands onto the torso. And the breath of fire is a sharp exhale through the nose, followed by a sharp inhale. So it sounds something like this. So you can see how my belly's moving in on the exhale. So that's kind of engaging these muscles that we've been using here. So then what we can do is to bring the hands up. So you've got hands up onto the shoulders here. So I've got the elbows sticking out, and I'm going to turn from one side. So I'm twisting from one side and all the way to the other side and then back again. And each time I'm inhaling one way and exhaling all the way round the other way. So, okay, we're going to do it 10 times each way. Breathing in to begin. And come back to the centre. Gently drop the hands down. Close the eyes or lower the gaze. And tune into what's happening. So I can really feel the prana. So we're going to do that again, but we're going to do it twice as many this time. So breathing in to begin. And then coming back to the centre, dropping the hands down to the ground. Again, closing the eyes, and probably you'll feel a lot more this time. So just tuning into whatever's going on. So we're feeling energy moving in the body, and this is what the breath of fire is for, and doing it with this movement really helps to bring the energy up. So I'm going to invite you now to find your way up to standing. We're going to work with a few standing postures now. So starting in Tadasana, looking down at your feet, making sure that they're pointing forwards. Knees are soft. Just give the arms and the hands and the shoulders a little bit of a shake and then let go of them, let them flop. Just feeling everything dropping down into the earth and at the same time rising up from the crown, just like we were when we were sitting, with those two opposing energies moving up and down. Beautiful. So this is the mountain. Here we are tuning into the rocks again. And then we're going to tune into a different kind of rock by stepping out into the star pose. So we've got legs into a comfortable wide stance with the feet just going out to the sides. And then we're going to bring the arms up and we can just raise them up slightly above the shoulders. Keeping the chin down and really reaching through the fingers, reaching up through the crown of the head, dropping down through the feet, feeling the feet rooting down in all four corners, tuning into the rocky part of the star. And then we're going to exhale, bringing the arms into cactus arms, and you might need to adjust the feet as you drop down into the goddess. Again, we're still tuning into the rocks here. The knees moving backwards, the elbows moving backwards. Trying to keep the breath going here. Beautiful. And then gently coming back up and finding your way back into your Tadasana. Lovely. So from here we're going to do a little bit more with the arms to prepare ourselves. So we're going to take the arms out as far as they'll go backwards, cross them over, give yourself another one of those hugs, and then we're going to see if we can come into Garudasana arms. So this is where the palms of the hands come so that they're facing each other. Now if you're very strong like me, you might not be able to go very far with it. If you can, reach the fingers of the lower hand onto the palm of the other hand, then that's really good. But if you can't, that's absolutely fine. Just do what you can and it's all good. And then we're going to open again, opening the shoulders, opening the arms back as far as you can, and then coming back, crossing the other way, giving yourself a hug before you try and come into Garudasana arms the other way. Lovely. And then dropping everything down. We're going to just work a little bit with the chair now. So I'm going to invite you to just take your feet so that they're just very slightly further apart. So they're just kind of on the outer edges of the hip, place where the hips are. And we're going to bend the knees. I'm going to come and turn around so that you can see what I'm doing. Bending the knees. We're going to take the arms forward and imagine that we're going to sit down into a chair, taking the heels, the weight into the heels. And then from here, we're going to lift the arms up and take a look up between the hands. Breathing here, feeling the prana move through the body. And then just coming and rising back up, arms back down. I'll turn around to face you again. Lovely. So that was a preparation for what we're going to do in a moment. But first of all, we're just going to take the weight over into one foot. It doesn't really matter which one you do. And we're going to take some big circles with the other foot. If you need a chair, grab hold, or a wall or something, grab hold of it, and then coming back the other way. This is just mobilizing the hip because we're about to do a tree pose. So other side, mobilizing this hip joint, and then going back the other way. So if you need a chair or something to help you balance, you can pause the video and get one now. Otherwise, I think it's a really good idea to take the arms out to the sides to begin with this. And what I like to do is to begin by putting the heel of one foot against the other ankle. And then from here, you can just bring it so that you've just got the toe onto the floor, or even up to, so you've got the leg onto the calf. Now, if you feel like lifting up into a full version like that is something that you could do, and you want to bring the arms up and do that, fine. Otherwise, honestly, staying like this is just as valid. And it's better to find your balance here than be up here and be sort of wobbling around trying to find it. So work with what works for you. And then coming down gently, having a moment here in Tadasana, and then we'll go to the other side. So we'll do it the same way. So heel onto ankle, just the toe, so staying wherever works for you. Arms up to the side if it helps. Foot onto the opposite calf, if that's good. For me, I can't really bring my foot up on this side because it affects my knee. So I tend to just stay here, and even here I can feel myself wobbling a little bit. So just come into what feels good for you. Breathing. Maybe finding a drushti even, which is a focal point to take the awareness, which can really help with the balance. And then dropping back down. Beautiful. So the last pose we're going to work with today is Garudasana, or eagle pose. And what we're going to do is I'll turn around again so that you can see the shape that I'm making. So we're going to make that same shape that we did with the chair. So we're going to bend the knees, taking the arms forward, dropping back as if you're going to sit into a chair. And then once you get here, you can then, if you want to, raise one foot. So I'm raising this opposite foot here, and then see if you can cross it over, and you can put it on the ground, the toe on the ground. And if that's good for you and you feel like if you tried to lift it up you'd be wobbling, then just leave it there. And this is where we're going to bring the arms in. So I've got my right leg on top, so I'm going to bring my left arm on top, coming into this huggy pose, and then seeing if I can find the arms. And now that I'm there, I'm going to see if I can lift that foot. I can't take the toes behind, but I'm raising up, I'm looking between the gap between my wrists here, breathing. And then when you've had enough, gently coming out of the pose. And we'll try it on the other side. So I'll stay facing you for this side. So bending the knees, arms out in front, taking the weight back into the heels. And then from here, taking the weight, I'm taking my weight into my right foot now and bringing my left one over. You do whichever one you didn't do last time. So I like to keep my feet there while I'm organising my arms. So this time I'm going to have my right arm on top because I've got my left leg on top, coming into the Garudasana arms if that works, or just into a hug, or whatever works for you. I can see you through the gap in my hands, and then here I'm just going to see if I can, whoo, she says falling over, I'm going to see if I can just lift my foot and staying there for a moment, breathing. Holding on to something if you need to. And then gently finding your way out. Wonderful. Come down for a little short bit of breathing. So I found myself back down into a sitting position with my ball and my block. Nice comfortable position here. And we're just going to do a little bit of breathing with this box breath that I've been working with some of the students in my classes with. So using the bandhas as well that we were doing at the beginning if you want to. We're going to inhale for a count of 4 and then exhale for a count of 6. If this doesn't work, then just go to what does work, and it might be that you keep the breath the same length. What this is doing is as you exhale, it's allowing you to let go of some of the rubbish, letting it out on the breath. But at the same time that you're letting go of the rubbish on the breath, on the way out, if you're using the Mula Bandha and the Uddiyana Bandha and even the Jalandhara Bandha, if that works for you, you're holding the prana into the body. So we're not going to work with this for very long, just for a few breaths. In for 4, out for 6, or whatever works for you, observing the beautiful little tiny pause at the top and bottom of the breath. Witnessing at the end of the breath how the inhale really wants to come back in. Not forcing anything, so if the exhale for 6 feels too much, then reduce it. And then making the next time you exhale the last one of these controlled breaths. And we're going to come and lie down again onto the back, onto the mat. So finding your way down, we'll just do a couple of little counter poses here. So coming into semi-supine again. And I'm going to invite you just to bring the legs up, bring them up so you've got the soles of the feet against the ceiling. You can bring hands to the backs of the legs if that's good, and give yourself a rock. If it's available to you to bring your hands onto the outside of the soles of your feet and rock from side to side, you can do that as well. That's a lovely little rocking sensation here. And then we can drop the legs back down, holding onto the knees, and then we can take the knees over to one side, taking the other arm out the other way. I've got this hand on top. You don't have to, you can do whatever you like. Looking over the other arm and just releasing down, letting everything go. Rolling on to this side again. And dropping the knees down the other side, looking over the other way. Only for a few moments. And then when you're ready, just doing any final movements that you feel you need. And then we're going to come into our Shavasana. So feet down about mat width apart. Let the toes just rock out to the sides wherever they go. Hands down on the mat beside the bottom, a little way away from the body. Palms facing up. Take a big breath in, the biggest breath you've taken all day, and then exhale, we can sigh it out. And then nothing to do. Just being here for a few moments. Breathing, allowing everything to go into the earth. And if you want to connect with the spirit of the water that we didn't really touch on in this video, then I'm making a very short moon salutation video to go with this that you can also do if you would like. So don't move from here unless you're ready. Don't move just because I do. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you want to support me, you can subscribe to my channel if you're not already. You can give me a thumbs up, you can make a comment, and if you really want to support me anymore, then you can always get in contact with me if you'd like to make a donation. The email is at the end of the video. Thank you very much. Namaste.